neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. AJ, A-Dub, Marco, and Stretch. Keeping it forthright, vulnerable, and... Yo!
All right, 3, 2, 1, starting now. Yo, 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 welcome back. I know I didn't need to say that because it is now currently in our intro song. I know y'all are loving it. And feel free to put it in the comments. I'm killing it right now. I'm taking over for Josh. He needed a break for a second, yo. I know you guys are normally used to 4, but it's just 3 today. Shout out to Marcus. He is occupied elsewhere. Always sending him blessings, nothing but love, of course. But fellas, let's get back into it. The conversation kind of was varying around, giving and receiving. It's just anytime I start something with saying giving and receiving, I can't help but my mind go in the gutter, dude. Damn. I'm 34, dude. That part of my life should, be on the downside, down. What am I saying? That part of my life should be decreasing, I guess.
No, not at all.
I only feel like I'm
giving in some ways becoming or laughing at giving and receiving.
Laughing. My mind immediately going in the gutter every time someone says that shit.
Fuck that. What was it? A chick said something crazy to me the other day about accountability, and I was like, "Damn, what flaky ass motherfuckers you been fucking around with?" And she was like, "Poster strudel ass niggas," and I was like, my brain immediately went, "Oh, so you out here creaming niggas?"
I love it. It's like, yeah,
apply your own cream,
right?
Yeah. Bro,
like,
you
fuck
can't.
That.
Yeah, you can only be so mature in every moment. Like it's gonna be hard for there to be humor if you can't at least be a little immature, man.
Yeah. It's funny because obviously I work in the construction industry these days. I'm not a construction worker per se, but so in the office you often hear like people say 3 inches, 2 inches this, 3 inches that, and I just always just snigger to myself. That shouldn't be funny at all. It's just a measurement, but I just think it's funny for some reason.
and then they say, "All right, I need you to put." I need you to slide just a couple inches into the blade or whatever, or just like, just the tip though, not the whole thing. We just want to get a precision cut on the tip.
Yeah, it's funny.
That is, how often do you think that line, yo mama, just the tip has actually worked over the decades, over the hundreds of years?
I was like, I think to old English times, fair maiden, may I layeth my tippeth. Like I think it's been going on for quite some time. Now I just go say to people like, did you really think that was gonna happen? Like, did you really think it was gonna stop there? Like, helmet and cool. I just want to test the waters real quick. Want to see what the birth was doing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hit him with that Deja Vu. You been zapped, bitch. Oh my god, yo, that's hilarious. It's one of the I feel like. And that's not even something that I feel like every male was taught. It's just instinctual. It's like, yo, just gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. Every male knows to try that shit. When she's saying no. Okay, that's terrible. Let's move on. I'm gonna get some disclaimers.
Saying, I've never said let me put just a tip because the thing slang out and they go, regardless.
Yep. I've said this in season 1. I know a little more information about Josh's tip than I'd like to know.
You don't have to affirm that every time.
Just because, bro. It's been like 6 seasons since I did it. I gotta re-up. Every 30 years some shit comes back. Yeah. Every 6 seasons I'm bringing that back.
So before we got on, you and Adam were in a conversation about your work life If you could give like the cliff note of where it was, and we can keep that push.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I was bringing up what was a bit of a revelation for me. This was some years back. I was having a conversation with my sister, just about, like you said, work life, like different jobs, value, expectations from employer and employee. And she was saying how, like, if she goes into a job, and sis, forgive me if I'm butchering any of this. I'm feel like I'm getting it right, the context right, but feel free. If you have any issues with what I'm saying, feel free to come on the
Write us
podcast or write us. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Come on, Colette. We'd love to have you on the podcast.
Exactly. Indeed. She was essentially saying, going into a job like with all these credentials and like the resume killing it, she knows she's not lying. They can verify if they wish to. All these wonderful references. She's applying for shit. And she's like, yo, I've been in jobs where I was paid many different things, all the way up to like 90 something. I'm gonna leave it there. If I've showed you what I can do, and you telling me that all you can give me is $30,000-$40,000, then all I can give you is $30,000-$40,000 work.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking revelation for me a couple years ago. I was like, why did I think of that, yo? Damn. Yeah. I'm out here busting my ass for, $875. I'm gonna make it work, man. I'm gonna show him what I can do. I'm gonna show him how my aunt raised me, yo. Even if I'm mowing the lawn, I'm the best lawn mower. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, that's something to think about. Like, damn, okay. Well, how much do they value me? Maybe, like, if I really am killing it, I've showed that I can kill it in previous jobs. I'm killing it here, and you're showing me how you value me at 30,000. So don't push so much on me giving you beyond $30,000 work. Of course, there's there's fair questions in both sides, but
no, of course. I think it's not a challenge to it, but my challenge with it is just because I've been working in the arts for forever, and only people making like bank is people on Broadway, or like some in the commercial world. Like I know a homie of mine who's on tour with Taylor Swift for like a year, and I know he's making like bank.
Yeah, for sure.
And was prior to that gig, but I know he's making bank on that, and even more than him, his brother's in the NFL. So it's like,
his brother is banging Taylor Swift. Got you. No, I'm
she
joking.
Has a black ass, but
it's funny.
But yeah, so I like there's ways, but it's still pretty seldom. Especially in the particular kind of dance that I do. So when you talk about making 30, 40 a year and all of that, a lot of times that's what the company can produce, not necessarily what you are worth.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I gave the disclaimer on, like, in case I was getting the context wrong, because it was some years back when we had this conversation, and the thing that stuck out most to me was just her bar of like, essentially know your worth and know your value, and like, keep that same energy when you in the interview and everything,
Absolutely.
like no matter how high up the person is interviewing you and shit.
Right.
So, but like, so the context might have been a little off, but like,
no, it's not. No, the context makes complete sense. If you know your company is making buku and you're not getting paid that, then by all means, yes.
But that's the thing. Like, I can't remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember like if she was already. I'm sure she was already there. I can't remember if you going for a specific position. Well, I guess this gets into the conversation of being able to negotiate salaries, because then that's okay. If you go in, I'm assuming she didn't go in saying, "Oh, this job's posted for $40,000. Let me go for it," and then push my way. It's like they gave her the opportunity to negotiate.
Yeah.
So so that's where it would make more sense to like be able to argue and be like, yo, you see my credentials, quit playing. I'm gonna give you this $30,000 work because the opportunity is to negotiate. You know,
That always like maybe just because I'm not in that world, the negotiating your price, I always find to be like that old metaphor for like shoe sales. Like that shoe is worth $20, they're selling it for 120, and then you're like, man, that's too fucking expensive. So then they go, okay, it's a discount, $40 off. And you're like, oh my God, it's a sale, but they still have like such a large profit margin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's always like if I'm negotiating the price for you, how do I know I'm not still
Still
getting
getting
undercut?
shortchanged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah.
A bit.
I was gonna say I've always thought about that, and it's like, so it's like you can afford to pay me this high number, you just don't want to. It's like,
Right.
and it's like that's so interesting to me. I'm like, dude, why don't you just pay me what? Well, I'm not saying pay me what I want, because I mean I want 300,000. I mean, I'm not gonna get that,
Yeah.
but no, I always thought that interesting. It's like the whole salary thing is crazy. I always think of this Chris Rock line where he's like, like when someone pays you minimum wage, they're basically telling you, I would pay you less if it wasn't against the law.
Right.
And it's like that's so profound to me. Like, dang,
It's
that's
so it really
dude.
damn.
And it's
Dude,
like,
that's when you use humor perfectly to land
yeah,
some truth. Damn.
yeah. And then I think about my job, and no one gets paid, whatever the minimum wage is, but there's something I noticed that's kind of grimy and dirty that I've noticed with my company. And if you want to listen to this, I really don't care. But so like my boss, okay, so I work in construction. I'm not a construction worker. I'm kind of like an admin. I kind of do a little bit of everything, just whatever was asked of me, kind of like type of thing. Um, uh, but there's people that work as project engineers for my company, and basically what a project engineer is, they're basically an assistant project manager, basically.
Mhm.
So what my boss does is he'll hire people that technically don't have any construction experience, like myself, and you'll kind of like learn the ropes and you'll get trained and et cetera, et cetera. But basically, what ends up happening is he'll hire people as project engineers and like, oh yeah, you're gonna work as a project engineer, and he'll pay them as a project engineer, but they end up being a project manager, but they're not getting paid as a project manager, which is like a $30,000 difference.
I
And
don't like
like,
that.
and that's, and I've noticed that over the years, like, wait a minute now, because even when I started, like, yeah, we'll bring you in and we'll train you, and you'll become a project engineer and hopefully you'll become a project manager one day. But I've been there for almost 2.5 years, and I've yet to see anybody become a project manager for this company.
And you're
So
sure
But
that
the
like you're
project
doing the
manager,
same work, the same level of responsibility and work
that's
yeah.
what I'm
as
saying.
the
Like
manager?
the things.
Damn.
Well, I'm not. Well, let's. I want to make this clear. I'm not a project engineer. I don't. Like so I'm like under a project engineer, trying to make it to a project engineer.
Mhm.
But the project engineer that are already there, they're basically project managers, but they're getting paid as
Mm.
project engineers. And it's like this feels weird to me. Like,
Right.
and it took me a while to pick up on that because, like I said, it took time because like I haven't seen anyone technically move up to a project manager. Like we don't
Mm.
have any project managers on the payroll, but
So
we're a
you know what?
construction company.
That's interesting, right? It kind of goes
Yeah.
back to a little bit what we were talking about because you want to kill it at your job. You want to like put your best foot forward and like show that maybe you can even go above and beyond expectations. You can go for that
Yeah.
4 and that 5 instead of that 3 spot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, but then and like no boss is gonna be like, yo, slow down, chill out.
Yeah.
Like we're not,
Exactly.
no boss is gonna be like, man, we don't have the pay to give you, but like, thanks, fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Keep
I
killing
get
it.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. No boss is going to be like, your work is exceeding your salary. They're
Right.
never going to say that. They're
They're
going to be
never
like,
gonna say
Yeah.
that.
they're going to be like,
Oh my
how can you
God,
be
you're
better? It's
amazing.
always,
This is
how can you
incredible.
improve? That's always
You
the
know?
idea in
And to some
company.
degree, you want people who are like that gung ho about killing it
Mhm.
and maybe being creative and like thinking of new ideas because you're going above and beyond. But at some point, they can only do that shit for so long without being able to be compensated for that, man. That's
Yeah.
at some point the thank yous and the cards and the fucking party for your birthday at work and shit like that is not gonna be enough.
It's not enough
Yeah.
appreciation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Show me you really fucking with me, man.
and I really don't want to say, I really hope I'm not saying too much, but then there's this other instance that just happened like a week ago where they basically just relieved an entire department from like let's like we have like an environmental department and they're
Mhm.
all gone. And
Damn.
what's
Let's just
crazy
say
about it,
allegedly. Allegedly.
yeah. And what's so like kind of like crazy about it is my boss told me, he's like, hey, yeah, don't go to the office today because it's gonna be some drama going on. And I'm like, okay. I actually went anyway because I just literally needed to grab something, and it didn't look any different other than there was no people from construction in the office,
Mm.
which is weird because it's like, okay,
Right.
where's this? But everyone that was there were the people that were being let go. I didn't know that when I walked in the door, but
Damn.
and it's just like, dang, it's just crazy. And that always makes me think of the whole like two week notice thing, where like, companies want you to give a 2 week notice so they don't get screwed, but they're allowed to completely blow your life up and let you go, like like
Yeah,
at a
that
moment's notice. It's
it's
always been
it's
ongoing.
so true. And
Yeah.
I try to see that, like, try to look at that shit at both from both sides, but like I've also, like you said, seen some companies do some shady shit. I'm like, I don't understand how they feel like that's fair for everybody.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like
You know?
like you're more likely to be able to handle it
Mhm.
than this individual person that's supporting the
Mm-hmm.
family that's doing this. Like,
Yeah.
if I just quit abruptly, I mean, they'll figure it out. But if they fired me on Monday, I'm like, dang, I got to figure this out. Like,
Right.
what am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah. So that's my
so
thing. Like, here's my thing. As long as they're giving you of um weeks of communication saying, yeah, or months of communication, or
yeah,
just give me the same amount of time of like
yeah,
to
like
correct my
give
whatever
me a
I'm
2 week
doing.
note, or yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
And then that way
Like
I can at
be
least try to find something, and I probably
yes.
won't, but at least I'll have a heads up.
Be
Exactly.
communicative about what I'm fucking up about and how I can give me a chance to like figure that out,
Yeah,
before it's just
But
like,
companies will
you know,
often care too much about, their progress or their deadlines and not necessarily how you're affected.
yeah.
yeah,
And,
Yes.
and I guess just to clear up my previous statement, I have been in situations where they are like giving you 3 and 4 and 5 chances. So let me give some
yeah.
people a break,
Well,
but
okay, so look, so I'm not saying like people
no,
that
I'm not
get fired for their
trying to give
performance.
a disclaimer for your statement. I was more so
Okay,
mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these people, like, they didn't get let go because of their performance. It was just the company just needs, they're trying to save money basically.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
what's
damn, that's
always,
even worse.
yeah. So for me, and what even makes it even more worse is they spend money on like unnecessary things. Like, and look, I'm not a business major. I'm not a, but just as a observer, it's like, do we need Montel Jordan to come to the Christmas party? No, we don't.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely not.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, or like they'll have like a barber come to a barber, a nail tech, all these different resources come to the office that I'm sure they're paying for. Every Thursday they have happy hour where like at 4 o'clock. I never go to them, but they'll have beer and wine, which is great for the company as far as building morale. But like, you're spending all of this money on all of these things, but then you just let go of an entire department. Like, maybe we would have had the money for this department if we didn't get
Yeah.
Montel Jordan to come to the Christmas party.
Absolutely. Damn, dog. That's so true. That's
Not 90s.
crazy.
It's not
Was that a
98.
wait? Was that a real thing that happened?
Yes, that's a real thing. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
he even say anything besides "this is how we do it," or like
I
he
didn't.
just
I didn't go to the Christmas party. This was just relayed to me. I never go to the stuff which I get. I get criticized for not going to like the company like stuff, like the company
Mhm.
picnic, company Christmas party. Like, it's not mandatory.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Yeah.
not. But I heard my boss on the phone the other day talking to just another employee,
Mhm.
actually doing his review, kind of like his mid-year review, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm disappointed that I didn't see you at the company picnic. I kind of was expecting to see you there." And I'm like, "Dang, he ain't never told me that because he just know I'm not gonna come." Like, he's so he doesn't even try. Like, that guilt thing isn't gonna work for me. I think he knows that.
Right.
Mhm.
But But I just thought that was crazy that he even said that to that man. Like, I expected to see you there. Like, I gave you my 40 hours this week. I'm not, anything else
Right.
is optional. So
Yeah, agreed. As long as I understand, because I've had, like, I remember at one of my previous jobs, one of the ways, so one of one of the ways they decided or determined whether you would get your raise, ways and raise. I just listened to that new M verse, my bad. Um, is company culture and if you still fit in it. And one of the ways they did that was, are you attending? Are you like showing? Are you not just putting an effort, but like, are you making it an effort to like communicate with people, you know, and like
be
not just if
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And like not just because you see them making a mistake or whatever and you're trying to correct them.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, dog. Come on with that. Come on with that, man.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap up with this. Because
that forced community thing is just
that's not fair. It's like, and then like, oh, I don't want to forget this. Okay, I'll let somebody else go because I think I forgot.
My bad, man. Damn.
Okay, you good.
Yeah. I at least in my environment, I will say it does get very familial. So the like group outings and all that kind of stuff aren't as pressing.
Yeah.
But nobody feels any kind of ways if you don't attend.
Yeah, it's like
that's my thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I actually usually attend a lot of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
As some jobs, I would go we had a thing where a group of us would go every Friday, and like I enjoyed it, but it should not be mandatory.
Exactly. Yeah, if you want to do that, that's perfect. Maybe that's just not in my personality. I'm not gonna.
Right.
In fact, speaking of personality, the same guy he told me one day is like, there's like a legal person in our company that we deal with who I already know and deal with. But he's like, yeah, I want you to introduce yourself to such and such, and I want you to get out of your break out of your shell. Is what he said. I'm like, I don't have to break out of my shell. I'm comfortable in what I'm doing right now. I'm not going to change my personality for you or this company. So I'm like, I didn't say that, but that's like my mindset. I'm like, first of all, I already know this person that you're talking about, and I deal with her all the time. So, but I just thought that was a weird thing to say to somebody, like that tell somebody that they want you to. Like, I think companies just have way too much audacity sometimes. Like this is a transaction. Like I do work, you give me money. That's it. That's all this is.
That's all it is. You get what you need in order for this company to keep going.
Yeah.
You make sure I'm paid to make sure that you can keep getting this work.
Yeah.
It should be that simple.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like I'm only here. The only reason why I come here every day is so I don't starve to death. That is the only reason. like if I could eat and pay my bills some other way, I would do it. But since I can't, I got to go to work. So, and it's crazy that they don't see that. It's like they think that you're there because you want. Well, some people do want to be there, but they think you're there that you're there to do the company a favor, and that's not the case
at all.
And it's like I don't make it like maybe if I made six figures like like my boss does, maybe my attitude would be a little bit different. But like I'm probably make a third or fourth for what this guy makes. I'm like, I don't have that same tenacity,
Right.
To leave it all out on the floor.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel you, bro. Here's the thing. Like on one hand, if I had a company, I would not have that unfair expectation. I would not flip out I would not make it mandatory, but I would enjoy seeing people build rapport and camaraderie in more ways than just being at work. I wouldn't, because I would be like, okay, you guys are more vulnerable. You're more comfortable with like that can only help with the work. If there's more rapport and you're not just used to seeing each other being challenged or having conversations that are just work related. We get to know each other more, build a friendship. It's more cohesive and more family like. I think that can show improvements in work life as well.
Yeah,
and for the company, so it's everybody. So that's what I would probably prefer, but I'm definitely not making that shit mandatory.
Yeah,
like
I'm sorry, I keep cutting me off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was doing that shit earlier. So just last thing is, as long as you're coming to work, doing your job, and when you're at work doing your job, everybody's respectful and helping each other out and all that shit. That's all we ask for. The rest is up to you, man.
Yeah. But what I was trying to say was, urgently was that so
That's all good.
it's not mandatory though. Like from the top dog, Wilbur
Mhm.
himself
Mhm.
Well,
is not mandatory. So like that's the thing. So if you read the little employee handbook, it's not
Mhm.
mandatory that you go to the things. So that's why
right.
when my boss, who is not in charge of the entire company, when he says things, and he didn't say it to me, by the way, it's just a conversation I overheard. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
when he says it to some people, that he expects to see someone at a function that's outside of the work
Right. The
stuff.
work restrictions. It's an abuse
That's
of power.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Um,
But you
but
have to wonder
yeah,
if that's playing a part in the review. Actually,
I feel like it has to because
Well, that's I think that's what Adam is
yeah,
kind
they
of
were talking
implying.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about it during the review, so it wasn't like it was just a separate conversation. And I'm sure
yeah.
that guy felt like some level of pressure, like, dang, like what?
That's
You
what I'm
Right.
know?
saying. I guess like if it's an offhand comment, like, oh man, I hope to like that's something that I hope to because they're like in reviews a lot of time it's like, all right, how can we change this or like what can we do in the future to improve such and such or both do different, whatever, the company and the employee, whatever.
Yeah,
If it's just like that, kind of offhand, but if it's like, all right, so this is why I rated you a 3 instead of a 4 because you didn't show up to such and such, and this is how it affects your raise, then we
yeah.
got a problem,
Oh yeah.
man.
At that point, I'm going right to HR. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we got a
like
problem
you
then.
Yeah.
pull
We
that
got a
one,
That's why
problem.
they're never going to phrase it that way
yeah,
because that would be immoral.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I kind of like phrased it more on the on the head or on the nail
yeah, yeah,
That's what
way, but
I'm
like
saying.
you know,
yeah,
Him saying like, "Oh, I was disappointed that you didn't come," is different than being like, "I'm gonna give you a demerit because you didn't come."
yeah.
yeah,
But it's just as effective
which
though,
is simply whacktastic.
because I bet you that guy goes to the next event whether he wants to or not, and that's
Right.
BS.
Mm,
So,
true, true.
and funny, you mentioned like an offhand comment, like that's actually happened to me where like, we were like kind of sitting in like not a group, but we were at our desk and a boss comes up and he's talking about like the Christmas party. He's like, he's asking who's going. He's like, you going? He's going. He comes to me like, well, I know you're not going, Adam. Then he goes to but it's like, it almost felt like
Like a
Like a
jab.
jab.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're putting me on a spot in front of
Jinx.
people. Like it felt
Yeah.
like I didn't care. It literally didn't affect me, but I know what you're trying to do here. You're
Right.
trying to manipulate, and like
Yeah.
it didn't work. Still didn't
Trying to
go.
reverse psychology me and being like, "Oh, maybe I should go." They expect me not to go.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I
it's
did
Be
not.
like, no.
it's that typical syndrome of like people who go like on the other side of it, people who don't like to go out,
Mhm.
but then they get mad at their friends for being like, you didn't invite me,
If
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
weren't coming out in the first place. I'm
yeah,
not saying that's
yeah,
what you're doing. I'm saying it's the opposite of that with them being like, uh, no, you don't have to come, but then disappointed in you when you don't show up.
yeah. And so the fact is,
Yeah.
like, I honestly I don't want to go and do knapsack races when it's 90 degrees outside. I'm good. Or whatever the heck, softball. I'm good, man. I've I don't want to sound like a grandpa, like an old man, but I'm starting to dislike the summer. Honestly, it's just like I'm hot all the time. My eyes hurt. Like I'm good, man. Like I don't want to be outside.
That shit does feel oppressive. It does feel oppressive sometimes. So I feel you. I
Yeah,
mean, I love the summer, but
Yeah, yeah,
but I
don't have
also
that. I don't have
understand what
that
you're
ability.
saying.
yeah.
But
It's hurt.
bro,
It hurts. The
it's
summer hurts.
for me it's just the fucking it's just like this you sweat, you shower, you second you get out the shower, you're sweating again.
And for me, I'm a
Like
heavy sweater. Like I can
Mm.
walk to the truck, grab a case of water, come up the stairs, and it looks like I just worked out. I'm like, and because of the humidity, of course, but
yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
When it's particularly humid, that's the only time I actually don't care for it.
yeah. Yep.
Because when the air is, thicker than the fine bitch, like that's when I'm
Funny
like,
every time. It's
but
funny every time, bro. Oh man.
but no, I particularly like the heat, unless I have to be still. I still got that same whatever acute narcolepsy that I had back in high school, where I can't if I'm on either extreme temperature, I got to be moving. I can't be still. I will go to sleep immediately.
Mm.
So for me, I don't mind heat if it's okay. So like I know the whole dry heat thing, but like if it's like 85 and the humidity is like 20%, I'm completely okay with that. But when it's 85, humidity is 90%, I want no parts of that.
That's yeah.
That's very more than fair.
But
You
there's
would not
always
get a demerit for that.
It's like walking into a bouncer. Like as soon as you hit it outside, and
yeah. Exactly. There's always that argument, like especially people that live in the Southwest, like Arizona, Nevada, Vegas area. Like people like, man, it's too hot for me, and they're like, man, it's a dry heat. Like, dude, if it's 115 degrees, it don't matter if it's dry or humid. That's brutal.
it's just hot,
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that same. I was like my first time in the dry heat in California, I think.
Yeah.
And we were, and this was like in a national park, I believe, at the Redwoods or some shit like that, right?
Yosemite or
Joshua
Tree.
Well, there's so many different ones. I want to say it was so one of the either whether redwoods or the sequoias, they're similar but different.
Okay.
The point what I'm making is like it's tall ass trees that can provide enough shade.
Yeah.
So it was like 108 degrees that day. And anytime I stepped out of that fucking canopy shade, the sun, and it was dry heat, that sun hit me and sunburn was on contact. You know what I'm saying? On site, son. On site. I was like, okay, dry heat is a thing, but I learned my fucking lesson. 110 is 110 or 108 or whatever is 108.
Yeah.
For real,
being, man, when I was overseas, when we were going to, I might have told the story on here, but I'll tell it again. When we were, it wasn't even Afghanistan that I was particularly hot at the time of the year, but we were flying to Afghanistan, but on the way we stopped in Qatar. It's just very common.
right.
And it was, I think it was like 125 or something crazy. But because like the heat index, it made it feel like 135.
Ooh.
And when I say I've never felt anything like this in my life, it's just like, it's like, you just can't, it's hard to imagine. Like, it's like,
can't fathom that kind of heat.
Yeah. And like people were like, because we were there for like 2 or 3 days, and like people were literally changing their sleep schedule. Like just like, I'm not going outside in the daytime. I'm just stay asleep. And then if I want to eat, I'll go eat at like 10 p.m. or something.
Right.
It was crazy.
Damn,
that's like a broil setting on a crock pot.
yeah. Slow cook. Yeah, definitely.
Damn, dude. Okay, like were part of that time were you like suited up? Like in the actual gear? Okay.
No, so because
that would be even worse. God damn.
Well, because of the heat and because we weren't necessarily on official duty yet, per se, we were allowed to just wear like our PT or like our fitness type gear. So t-shirt and shorts. But even then, it was still hot.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I'm just thinking of like motherfuckers passing out with all that weight on too.
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter how much water you drink sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Because you can die from water intoxication. So drinking too much because the heat's oppressive is just like there's no good. You just stay inside, like you said.
Yeah. I've seen a guy. He didn't die or anything, but I've seen a guy definitely need medical attention because he drank too much water. It wasn't because of heat though. It was because we had a squadron-wide drug test. So everybody in the unit, which was like 400 people, got drug tested at the same time. And a lot of times people, can't go in front of people. So like to ensure that
they drink a lot of water, so so they gotta go regardless.
Exactly. So this guy he drank a bunch of water and he like fainted and stuff, and they had to take him out.
Damn.
The drug test in like the military is so weird because there's literally a guy standing there watching you pee. It's just unnatural.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a fucking latrine in the middle of a warehouse or a room, and like everybody, it's still 399 people standing behind you.
Yeah, I love that you use the term latrine. It's like that's exactly what we called it in the military. So. But, I never heard the word until I joined the military, so I didn't.
Really?
I had no idea what the heck a
latrine was. That's like the long toilet tub, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we just call any bathroom a latrine. So like, and like it was funny because like when I was in like basic training or boot camp, whatever you want to call it, like there is like a saying we had to say, like, so if someone was coming into like the dorm, like where we lived, whatever, like I'm trying to figure out how to tell this but I happen to give the background of everything. So like when someone was entering the dorm room, if you were in the area where the door is opening, because the latrine was right in view of the door, and there was a female dorm right across the hall, we had to, if you were in the hall, you had to yell,
Man in the
clear the
hall.
hall,
Yeah.
clear the hall, secure the latrine. But it sounded like a old time sailor from the 30s type of like chant. So like,
Clear the
clear the
hall, clear
hall.
the hall, clear the hall, secure the latrine.
So it was like, so this is how it went. It was like, clear the hall, secure the latrine. It almost had like a cadence to it. You know?
Okay.
And it was, I still say this to this day, by the way, just because it's just funny. You know,
Embedded
like,
in you at this point.
yeah. And we make fun of like everything. Like we took nothing serious. So like, I don't know. It's just, it was fun. Like as terrifying as they make basic training and boot camp seem on TV, you know, it probably is that for the first week. But after you've been there, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, they're not gonna hit us. They're not gonna, you know, maybe, you know, 40 years ago it was different, but
Right.
in the new age military, there's so many rules and it's been softened quite a bit. So
Okay.
it's like we just make fun of the things, like whatever. It's not that serious.
Yeah, I'm sure it was rough back in, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Motherfuckers was like,
even in the
when
90s,
you come
I'm
here,
sure it was crazy. Yeah.
yeah, when you come here, I'm your daddy.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm sure. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Hey, I'm kind of curious, yo. Just going back to us talking about like going out and versus not going out, and like, I guess this is more so coming from like other people's perception, but I know it was more so like the perception of the employer. So someone else's perception on like what you should and shouldn't do in a way that they have no business fucking speaking on. You know?
Yeah.
But just also, Josh, you got something?
No, I was just thinking.
I guess my question for y'all would be, how often do y'all go out in general now? You know, I'm sure it depends on what it is. I'm not saying like partying all the time or just like on events that you get invited to and whatnot.
I try to do more than I had been doing in some years. I got really introverted, like heavily introverted, right before COVID, and then COVID was COVID.
Yeah, mandatory introversion.
Right. And so probably in the last maybe year, I've been trying to be like out and about, but I still can't do fucking clubs. It's just the fucking worst. But if it's a particular event or a particular DJ I want to see, I'll go to that. That only reason I'll go to a club now is because I'm like, oh, this DJ is spinning, and I want to see that.
DJ is spinning.
For me, I mean, it's pretty much zero. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've been trying to get better about that. I know, like me, Josh, and Marcus have been trying to hang out forever.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just hard. It's like I want to, and that's what's so crazy. Like I want to do stuff, but I can't
because like, your schedule and school and all of that.
Yeah, that, and then the price, everything is like ridiculously expensive these days. Like, not saying that you got to spend money when you go out per se, but I don't know.
Oh,
man,
you
like,
do. You fucking do.
For example, me and Kirsten went out a couple weeks ago, and like we spent $40 on tacos. I'm like, you know, it's just like they were great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, damn, it just costs so much to do anything. You know, like.
Was that in Chicago, in the city, or was that like okay?
Yeah,
because I'm wondering, like, I know some places in Atlanta. I'm like, well, in the city where it would definitely cost more than others.
Oh, the place was. Oh, what's the place called? Give me a second because I do want to answer that.
Yeah, like while prices have definitely gone up for that kind of shit, where I'm like, yo, you charging $5 a taco? You know that's ridiculous. You know that's ridiculous. I don't care what the ingredients are. I don't care that you pickled your radish in gold. No.
No, I agree. I mean, and if it is going to be that expensive, I need a full backstory on like which farmer you spoke to get each ingredient and how organic and fresh it is. And I want to know the relationship y'all have for 20 years and you know, until you got it right and it's the freshest and the best and the healthiest and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yo, one of the reasons why, just touching on what Adam was saying is like, you want to go out. Sometimes I just don't want to, and I just don't care to, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm okay with that. But part of why I say this is because, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but maybe just won't say the name. She probably won't hear this or listen to it. But um, my girl was just kind of like offhand telling me the other day, like, "Oh yeah, you didn't go to when I was hanging out with such and such. They were asking if you like if I was gonna go to this event that's coming up." And she was like, "Well, you know, he has a lot of things going on right now, but he just I think I had told her something like I told Nat, like, I don't know, like maybe we'll see." A lot of times it's straight up like, we'll see how I'm feeling. Like that's most
Mm-hmm.
important to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the person responded with, "Dang, he doesn't," which first of all is not true, but I'm just saying the person's response was, "Dang, he doesn't really go out with people very often." I don't know if he doesn't really go out with people or he doesn't really see a lot of people like hang out
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of folks. Are you concerned? Is that concerning? Like,
Concern.
sorry, I know that was a long fucking winded lead up
No,
to that shit, but I'm just like, are you
some reason.
concerned?
No, there's plenty of people.
Concern sounds so serious.
Yeah.
That's what and like you know, in the moment, I was just I laughed it off like that's ridiculous. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. I'm laughing just because it seemed like it was, and Nat was like, "Yo, that's not me." You know,
Yeah.
Nat eventually explained to her like, "Yo, it's all good." He just it'd be different if he was afraid or couldn't do it. He just had
Right.
like social anxiety, like all you know, through the roof or whatever, like more than what might be considered normal. But I just know he doesn't. He's honest about what he feels like doing.
Yeah.
You know. But I was
Yeah.
just surprised. I was like, it when you had mentioned that boss of yours or that supervisor, like wanting people to do things, kind of giving those comments like, well, I'm a little concerned about this part of your performance, not showing up to like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's for me, that always makes me like mildly infuriating because I think society thinks as a quiet person, as a, you know, as an introverted, truly
Right.
introverted person, like people think that that's somehow like a negative to be introverted. Like, oh, this person, you know, they like, for example, people often think I'm shy, but I don't believe I'm shy,
Right.
or that I like, or that I don't talk, or I don't like to talk, or that I sit at home. Like, for example, I remember I told somebody, man, I'm gonna, you know, get off work, get a 6 pack of beer. Like, "Oh, you drink?" Like, people are so shocked because, like, when quiet people do anything, it's like, oh my god, they're so shocked, and it's like, we're people too. You know, maybe just because I'm not talking, just hear myself speak. Like 60% of the population doesn't mean I don't have anything to say. I just say something when I feel like something should be said. But people are so thrown off by like, you know, quiet people, or, you know, it's like, and I never understood that. But to answer your question, Josh, the name of that restaurant is Quesaberia Jalisco
Mm.
Tacos.
Okay.
It's in
Where was it?
Pilsen.
Oh,
It's
I
in
figured.
Pilsen.
Okay, it's a person.
And part of the reason why it was so expensive is because it's birria tacos. You know the tacos you dip in the
Yeah, I know beer.
whatever. Okay, so that was part of the reason. But still, if you look at like menus from other places, they're still similar in price though. So I mean, it's not
Yeah, I was
like you
wondering
said.
if
The
I
$5
was wondering
taco
if
is
it's in
pretty
Pilsen.
common.
Right,
Yeah,
file taco has become common, but
yeah,
it's um,
it's
but
just
especially
crazy.
it's absurd. And Pilsen is one of the places where it's like, you know, it's so Latin that, you know, it's taco spots on every corner.
Oh yeah,
So
there's two next door to each other. There's one right, and the other place that we were going to go to just so happened to be right next door because we were trying to decide, and then we put up to the place like, oh, it's the other place we're talking about. But you know what?
Dude.
I do have to defend this place though. So they are expensive, but they're huge. You know how most tacos are like tiny, you can eat in like 2 bites.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they're giant. So I mean,
Hmm.
Well,
but
that's good
we
because
order too much. So if we would have got half our order, we would have still been fine.
Mm.
So
okay. Well, that's
I'll
good
give them,
because
yeah.
You should not be able to fit 5 tacos on a regular size plate. That means they're too fucking small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like side by side, they're too small.
Right.
Dog. And like they probably had to charge more because that long ass name, the sign costs a lot. You know?
But that and was it when they give them taco shells that's the size of a Sacagawea dollar?
Yeah. I'm like, come on, dog.
Yeah. Now look, if you want to charge me like $1.50 for those, I'll eat those all day. But because I don't mind though the small tacos, it's just don't charge me $4 or $5.
I do. I mind it.
Yeah, I'll make sure not to take you to this place in Atlanta then when y'all come because it's really really good, but the tacos are tiny as fuck and it's expensive as shit.
Nah,
tiny dog.
So it's like there was this place in Lake Station where like we only went there on Tuesday. It's closed now though, but where they were $1 every Tuesday. They were $1, so we would get like 10 of them. Yeah, and be good, you know.
Rack up, dude.
Yeah,
rack up. God damn. Well, I appreciate y'all affirming that you know, there's no need to be concerned about introverts or just someone who just doesn't want to fucking go out. You know what I'm saying? It's just let's just sum this up. It's always interesting to like someone's concern for you when it's completely wrong. When it's you know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, you can like, this is just so inaccurate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You gotta love it, man. But I guess concern is concern at the end of the day. So yeah, sounds like that's a good time to wrap it up, eh?
Word. All right. Short one today. Appreciate y'all for joining us for another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. Y'all know where to hit us, InforMILLy Honest on Instagram, InforMILLy_HP on Twitter. And of course, you can always email us at InforMILLyHonestPodcast@gmail.com. We love you. We appreciate you. And sing the song, blow it up, share it with your friends. If I see you on the street and you know you're like, Josh, I love the podcast, I'm gonna be like 4 brothers from the and then finish the line. You can't finish the line, and you know you posing.
Yeah. If you can't finish the line, we concerned about you motherfuckers. Quit lying.
Now if you hit me back like with some bass you ain't got and trying to sound like Busta Rhymes on I'll Hurt You. The middle neighborhood, okay, we get the end. I'll be like, that's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, fellas, I appreciate y'all. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Man. Nah, I was trying to think something about tacos, but I can't think about it.
I got some last thoughts. Don't act like shit is mandatory when it's not. There you go. Let's do that. Let's do that.
You said I got some last thoughts. Both me and Adam went. You say some?
Just based on the time crunch.
And I mean, come on, past experience.
Always, we love and appreciate you. We encourage, empower, and implore you that any connection you have, any connection you make, and any connection that you connecting in, you know what I mean? We always want you to be forthright, be vulnerable, and as the song suggests,
yeah.
Peace.
Peace, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Yep, appreciate it as well.
4 brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. 4 brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana.